Morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I'm going to say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take life for granted. I don't take you for granted. So I am happy and grateful for you. And I'm going to remind you that you are healthy, you are wealthy, you are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you're great. Okay. You're created out of greatness. You're created out of perfection. You're perfect. But in this journey, we strive for perfection. All right. We're not mandated to be perfect. We're imperfect people. All right. In a dark world. But we do get up intentionally every day to walk out our purpose. Okay. So here's the thing, Meal Prep Monday. I don't know if let me put this on do not disturb because there's a whole lot going on between work and here. But all right. So Meal Prep Monday, this is what I wanted to share because I know we've been talking a lot about alignment and heaven's alignment and our thoughts and all that. But I want to talk about and of course, belief. But this is the thing. We have to understand how powerful our mind really is. Okay. Meal Prep Monday. So when we're talking about all this, because I have been saying a lot, I need to go and put the videos up. I didn't realize I had not put up the last 3 videos. I think I got stuck up on that one day when I got back from Maryland and I was sleep talking, as my daughter said. I think I just stopped posting from that point because I was kind of stuck. Like, am I going to post it? But I'm going to post these, okay? Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that's from the Bible, okay? But I think that our mind is very powerful. So, but our original DNA as a man thinketh in his heart, okay? Your heart is not your brain. It's not the conscious mind. Your heart is truly your subconscious mind, all right? We're supernatural in this natural place. So, I want you to know that even while we're going through this journey and we're being the best versions of us unapologetically, we cannot fully conquer anything one until you conquer the belief that you can do it. All right? You got to believe and you got to conquer the belief that you can do the thing. Do a thing, okay? So this is the thing. Knowing that, you got to know that belief's not enough. All right? We have faith to believe, but the conquering happens when we know. So we have faith in a thing. Faith brings us to a place where we believe a thing. But when we know that we know, when we know beyond a shadow of a doubt, that's when we can conquer a thing. This is why it's so important not to have negativity around you. You cannot have negative thoughts. All right? Negative thoughts are like a weed in your garden to suck and destroy the seed before it can grow. Okay? So here's the thing. You got to remove negativity. You got to remove doubt. You got to remove distractions. And we talked about this last week, but I want to go more into it, right? Because I keep saying it, but how do we conquer this? How do we take over? What do we do to conquer these doubts, these fears, these distractions, all of that, right? What's the first thing? Like I said, belief is the beginning, not the finish. All right. So we got to learn how to feed daily. What we got to learn, we got to have a healthy diet. Okay. We gotta eat healthy. Just like how, well, I'm not gonna say diet because I don't believe in diets. I believe in lifestyle change. So we have to have a healthy lifestyle of what we're allowing to come, what conversations we're allowing to come. What Because the thing is, what we allow to come in, it fuels what our thoughts are. We thinking about whatever we're dealing with, okay? So we got to learn how to start filtering out the negativity, all right? You got to filter out the negativity, and you got to be able to guard it. You got to guard your thoughts. The only place where battle is in the mind. You got to guard it fiercely. You got to guard it like your life depends on it, because it really does. Okay? What do? Like I said, you have to first be able to identify, you got to recognize the unhealthy patterns that you have in your life. You got to recognize them. Okay? The first step, you got to see. What is the first thing they do in AA? Hi, my name is whoever you are, and I'm an alcoholic, right? They make you own who you are. Now, we are quick to label and own ourselves negative, all right? You got to recognize those negative things so that you can rewire that neuroplasticity. You can rewire that avenue and that way, or that wave, or that thought, or that habit. Okay? You got to first recognize it. If we can't acknowledge our shortcomings, we can't deal with them because we don't believe it's a shortcoming. We'll never conquer it because we can't even believe it. We can't conquer believing it. And you got to do it in a healthy way, because I'm not talking about self-sabotaging. I'm talking about recognizing something, acknowledging the distraction or the unhealthy pattern, so that we can rewire our brain to do what's right, to conquer it. When I say what's right, if it's negative, it's wrong. Okay. What else do we do? You can't just speak affirmations, okay? You can't just speak them. You got to know how to defend them. And this is what I mean by guarding fiercely. So we see a thing, we believe it to be so. Now we write it, we're because we're trying to rewire. So now we're making that negative thing positive. What's the easiest way to do it? You make an affirmation. Okay? If you look at yourself and you know I'm gonna use me. I believe I'm overweight, because I am. All right? I believe I'm overweight. So now I'm not gonna self-sabotage myself. I gotta believe it. You gotta get to the know. Because if I don't believe I'm overweight, I'm not even gonna try to eat better. I know that the weight comes from what I'm putting in my mouth. Okay? So I'm not gonna self-sabotage myself. I'm not gonna speak negative things over myself. But what I am gonna do, now that I believe I'm overweight, I believe I got a little tire roll, and I'm trying to be fine as wine. Okay? I'm going to now counteract the negative thoughts, because anyone who struggles with a thing, you already know that your clothes, well, for me, I'm using weight. Your clothes don't feel right. You don't feel right. Like you just, it makes you feel like you could look better or be better. But you think about when you have on something and you feel good in it. Okay? So I know I'm overweight. I know my clothes don't fit the same way. I had to, yesterday, I had to pull out, go into my big girl section of my closet. So yes, I got a lot of compliments, but for me internally, I don't even like that I had to put it on. I'm grateful. So this is what I did, because I had to go to the big girl section of my closet, right? But I began to say, I'm so happy and grateful now that this jumpsuit is not skin tight. Now, it may sound crazy. It may sound like Nicole over there tripping. Indeed, I'm not. I know what size that jumpsuit was, okay? And it was loose. But I also know the clothes that I want to be in, how tight they were. So I have to believe that that my weight is not where it's supposed to be. But now I gotta be able to defend that it is not that the big girl clothes still is loose. I gotta be able to defend that posture when the negative thoughts try to come. Does that make sense? Because if I get stuck on the fact that I can't fit what I would like to be in as a size, and just get stuck on the fact that I had to pull out something that was larger, that doesn't help me. But when I can believe that I'm overweight and I can find the solution, okay? Because the solution is not to go to that side of the closet. The solution is really to be able to find what I need to make it better, but what do I also need mentally? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Y'all come off. If it don't make sense, somebody tell me. All right?
It makes sense.
Thank you. So you have to know how to do the mental filtering. All right? You have to know how to do that. You also got to educate yourself on how your brain works. Okay? You have to. If that is plugging into someone who is researching it, because everybody don't want to, this is just my cup of soup. Everyone doesn't want to do this, but you got to know how your brain works. How can you make the function of your natural organ? It does a specific thing. How do you make it work to your benefit when we know that the battlefield's in the mind? You got to educate yourself, all right? This is why I keep talking about the word neuroplasticity. If you just go look up that word, you've done enough. Because I keep bringing it up to you because I need you to understand that your brain can change. Your thoughts can change. Your habits can change. You have enough control to change the negative things in your life. Period. All right? So, thoughts form pathways. Maybe that's why your brain look like that. Thoughts form pathways, but you can redirect. Stop trying to stop the thought. Some of the thoughts I've had for 40 years. I don't want to stop it. I want to redirect it. A lot of times we fail because we try to stop a behavior instead of redirecting the behavior. The redirection is going to automatically make it stop. Okay. And they teach you like thoughts make pathways, consistent thoughts make highways when you read about it. Okay. So another thing, because we're dealing with the mindset, you have to meditate on the word. You have to meditate on the word. I used to tell the women when we were gathering, I'd rather you know one scripture and live it than be able to recite the whole Bible to me and I see no life of a scripture. Okay. I ain't even gonna touch that. All right. But you have to be able to meditate on words of who you truly are. Meditate on Philippians 4:8, things that are true, noble, pure, lovely, and of good report. It's in the Bible. I told y'all last week. If you struggle with reading the Bible, pick it up and read the story of Jesus. Read the story of Paul. Read the story of Joseph. The Bible's actually really juicy. It's better than TV. But, all right. So you have to learn. When I was saying you have to learn how to discern mental sabotage, you got to know when you're speaking death to yourself. Why? When you self-sabotage, you drain yourself. You don't feed yourself. Okay? Everything that we do, it's either feeding our faith or it's draining our faith. You're either growing it or you're sucking life out of it. What are you thinking about yourself? And if your thoughts are negative, flip them. If you cannot flip it about yourself, flip it about who God says you are. Who do you say I am? What does the word say I am? He says that we're fearfully and wonderfully made. Well, I got a stinky attitude. Where everybody have a bad day. I'm not saying it's okay. But I'm love. Okay? If you mean, you might have to go into Corinthians. All right? You might have to remind yourself of the fruits of the Spirit because you're supernatural in a natural space. I don't care if the person mean as a rattlesnake. Their true DNA are the fruits of the Spirit. Life, this journey may have provoked these things. Most people that are mean is because they're guarded. Most people that are mean is because they truly have a self-image that sabotages, because they've been through some stuff and they have arrested development. They have trauma points that have now taken over. That's why you don't judge a book by its cover. Judge me by my cover. You'll miss a lot. All right? Not in denial about myself. So here's the thing. You got to know when you're literally self-sabotaging yourself. Because when you do it, you're draining your faith. You wonder why you're weak. You wonder why you feel like you can't fight. Check your one-on-one conversation. Check your one-on-one thoughts about yourself. Okay? Whew. This is another thing about the brain. Your brain naturally scans for threats. All right? So your brain naturally in the organism of itself, it scans for threats. What are threats? All things negative. What are threats? Anything that doesn't feed your faith. Your brain actually does it. So now what is your part? Because faith without works is dead. What is your work in that? You got to train it to recognize truth instead. Naturally, your brain picks up the negative stuff. So the hard work is the heart work, because we're trying to learn to pull spirit inward out. So you've got to recognize if you one of them people, because I think we've all been there, and you just be sitting around and just the thoughts that you have are just negative, or no matter what's going on, you can figure out what's wrong. That's what I'm talking about. You got to recognize when you do that. I'm on a word fast. I'm on a word fast right now, right? And I am intentional to catch my words. If it's something that's not speaking life, I'm learning how to catch it. All right? The less words I say negative, it's a gauger for me to know how well I'm doing with the mind. Because if I can take those thoughts captive, before I give them the power to speak it out. So, like if you're talking to someone and y'all are talking about what just happened, like, oh, that was a great movie. Yeah, but I mean, the acting could have been better. Why did you even have to say that? Even if it's true, can we just embrace and enjoy the moment? Or if you're gonna say it, can you catch it and speak life to it? I hope this is making sense. All right. Let me see. All right. The brain. Don't just consume content. You have to apply wisdom that reinforces positive belief. So for my analytical thinkers, you a walking dictionary. Become a walking Bible. How about that? You got to be able, so you can get so much information. And you got to remember, the information comes from a dark place. This earth, this world is dark. All right? So when we just start consuming so much information, we have to learn how to apply wisdom to it. So when situations come into your life that are factual, they're real, they're really happening, you have to be able to call on the spirit of wisdom and how to navigate through that situation. You have to do it. Okay? Because if not, the situation is set up to bring you down. It's coming from the world. Where are we from? We are not from here. We're kingdom. Oh, Lord. All right. Here's an example. If you say, I'm behind, because, your time get messed up. How do you redirect that? My times are in God's hands. That's Psalms 31 and 15. You got to remember, progress is not linear. Small steps create lasting change. So even if you don't want to get spiritually deep, all right, we're not linear. So the small steps, it's never what we go through, it's how we choose to get through it. You don't want instant gratification. You want longevity in whatever is going on in the situation, good or bad. You want to be able, in those bad places, learn how to count it all joy, every trial and tribulation. To do that, you've got to have the spirit of wisdom and understand what I'm doing right now is not the end all. It's not the ending that I'm looking for. You take the situation, you put it in vision, and you understand that what you're looking for is long term. So then you're willing to walk out the steps. Redirect. Okay? I feel like this is way too much. This is another thing. How you live it out. I wrote, declutter mentally and emotionally. Let go of people, places, and patterns that trigger unworthiness or fear. Let me say it one more again. You've got to get to a place where you can let go of people, places, and patterns that trigger unworthiness or fear in you. You have to do that so you can build routines that's going to protect your peace. Okay? You cannot master your mind if there's chaos. Mind mastery is not possible in chaos. Okay? And you got to stop reacting to negativity. You got to live in a way that leaves no room for it. So we always want to be offended. Okay? Offense brings defense. But can we just be offended by negativity? So we don't have to be offended by a thing, a person, where we then become defensive. Let's be offended by negativity so that we defend the negative. All right, that's too deep. That's too much. That's too much. So here's the thing, because it's 10:28. All right. Just know that belief is your foundation, but it's not your fortress. All right. That's number one. You got to protect your belief like a seed. I tell y'all all the time, it's your garden of Eden. All right. So you got to protect it. You protect your garden. All right. You guard it. What do you do when you're gardening? You plant a seed. You're guarding it. You're making sure weeds don't come in there and choke it up. You're watering it. And you have to expose it only to light for it to grow. Okay? Mind mastery is not just about thinking right. It's about removing what doesn't belong. Okay? So, Meal Prep Monday, what do I want you to focus on? I want you to understand that just thinking another way is it's not enough. You got to put in the work. Okay? It's so easy for us to be offended by one another, to be offended. But let's stop looking at those. That's why I say all the time, situations come and go. Let's be offended by negativity. You dealing with ailments, by his stripes we were healed. Be offended that this ailment has the audacity to think that it can attack my temple. Okay? Don't hold on. Don't grab it. Why are you believing the report of man instead of the report of God? So we got to learn how to push that negative away. So now we're not looking at the ailment, we're looking at negativity, and you got to go. All right? Once you can start doing that with negativity, it will become easier to dismiss people, dismiss places, and dismiss things. Because now you're guarding your peace. So your perspective has shifted. Meal Prep Monday, that's what I want you to focus on this week. When you can do that, that's how we learn to walk in love with one another. I don't have enemies. And I love everybody who has crossed my path. I just understand that love is not the way the world says love is. I am love. I was created from love, and I'm created to love. You got to shift your perspective. Just because I love you don't mean that we're friends. Just because I love you doesn't mean that you're supposed to sit and break bread with me. I am love. So everywhere I go, I will exude love. I don't have to be upset with you because it's not you that can stop me. It's the spirit of negativity. We got to shift our perspective this week. So whatever comes to you negative, get to the root of the negativity, not the situation. All right? Once you recognize that and you begin to redirect, okay, get off that highway and create new pathways, you'll begin to see things a lot different. And peace that surpasses your natural understanding will be your portion. Okay? So I want you to stay focused, stay humble, and stay positive. Continue to be the best version of you unapologetically, because no one else can do it. And you are relevant, you are necessary, you are needed, not just to your friends, family, and your enemies, but to the world. Period. Okay? So I am Nicole D. Jones, and I want you to continue to have a fantabulous rest of the day. Smooches.